What are SOH CAH and TOA? Until now, I guess they were the three life buoys you've been using without understanding what they mean. But hey, if it works, who cares? Once again, it was just an easy thing. Make sure you've seen the two first videos of this series, please. Now, let's discover together what are these three formulae. Actually, I'll explain the first one and you'll do the rest yourself. Let me use a picture to explain something useful first. Is this one fine for you? So I take this small image and I enlarge it to make it 3 times bigger. What does it mean to make it 3 times bigger? It means that any distance in the original picture is 3 times smaller than the same distance in the enlarged picture. The width multiplied by 3, the height multiplied by 3, the distance between the right eye of the guy and the ear of the girl multiplied by 3, the distance between the right hand of the guy and the skull on the jacket of the girl multiplied by 3. This is proportionality. Anything you take from the original picture to the enlargement is multiplied by a factor 3 in all directions. Anything you take from the enlargement to the original picture is divided by 3. If it wasn't proportional, the enlargement would look, for example, like this, or even that. Before going any further, we need to understand the link between fractions and proportionality. Let's have a small reminder on fractions first. A simplified fraction has an infinity of equivalents. 1/3, for example, is equal to 2/6 or 3/9 and so on. It's always the same number. What makes these fractions equivalent? This, the denominator is 3 times the numerator. Any fraction where the denominator is 3 times the numerator is equivalent to 1/3. So if I compare two proportional things, such as these two planes, we can make equivalent fractions. The big plane is 3 times bigger than the small one. So if I divide the fuselage of the small one by the fuselage of the big one, it's equivalent to dividing the floats of the small one by the floats of the big one, or even the tail of the small one by the tail of the big one. And of course, the wings of the small one by the wings of the big one. All this is equivalent to 1/3. Which lesson can we take from this? Well, this. For any corresponding things in a situation of proportionality, all the fractions made by any small thing divided by its corresponding big thing are equivalent. If this is clear for you, you should be able to solve this. Find the length of the Namibia-Madagascar line on the biggest of the two maps. Pause the video now and resume it when you're done. Let's see that together. Do you remember all distances on the small thing divided by their equivalent on the big thing are equal? So, I prepare the fractions and I write 3.9, small map, divided by question mark, big map, equals 5.4, small map, divided by 7, big map. So, this is cool because we have now an equation where everything is known except our question mark. If we play well, we can manage to get our question mark alone on one side and something calculable on the other side. I think it's the perfect time for a little algebraic reminder. When you have an equality between two fractions, let's say a over b equals c over d, we can make what we call the cross multiplication. So it's equivalent to a times d equals b times c. I'll explain that in another video. Just believe me for now. Back to our maps. So, we do the cross multiplication and honestly, the result looks better. I told you that I wanted to have my question mark all alone on one side, so I must get rid of this 5.4. This is why I'm going to divide both sides by a 5.4, because it allows me to simplify my fraction. And finally get my question mark alone on one side. So we just have to calculate now, and we find 5.0555. We're done. You may think that we are far away from trigonometry. In fact, we've never been closer. Because what we've done on two maps, we're going to do it on two triangles, and we're going to make a discovery, if everything goes well. So here are two right-angled triangles. The one on the right is an enlargement of the one on the left. I'm going to decide that the hypotenuse of the small one is my unit for measuring them. You can always choose your units as long as you agree with the people you deal with. So here, I decide that the hypotenuse of the small triangle is my unit. This hypotenuse is 1. If the hypotenuse is 1, then the opposite side is sine 35. It's the definition of sine. On the bigger triangle, we can put the names of the hypotenuse and of the opposite. Let's do what we did on the map. Because the second triangle is an enlargement of the first one, we can write an equality. 1 divided by its bigger version, the hypotenuse, is equal to sine 35 divided by its bigger version, the opposite. Then we can do the cross multiplication and get a more manageable equality. 1 times the opposite is just the opposite, right? So I simplify that. Now I'm going to try to get sine 35 alone. I get rid of the hypotenuse by dividing by the hypotenuse on both sides. Now I simplify and get this equality. The sine of an angle is equal to the opposite divided by the hypotenuse. Let's keep only the first letter. We have just demonstrated the first of the three main formulae of trigonometry. Would you like to do me a favor? I need to go to the bathroom, so I will let you demonstrate the CAH formula. I leave you with this. Note that I changed the angle from 35 degrees to theta. It's just to show that we're not talking about a specific angle, but just any angle. Good luck. I'm back, and if you ever ask, yes, I washed my hands. So, could you demonstrate the CAH formula? Let's do it together. It's very similar. We start with writing the names of the equivalent two sides of the big triangle. Small over big equals small over big. You know that. It makes this. Cross multiplication, I get this. Then I isolate the cosine by dividing by hypotenuse. I cancel the two hypotenuse and get this. Once again, let's keep the first letter only, and we find our famous formula. Good job, you're really doing math now. You'll understand that there's no reason why I shouldn't let you finish the job now. Prove me TOA. Good luck. How did it go? Let's check this together. So we write the names of the equivalent side on the big triangle. Small over big equals small over big. Cross multiplication. Isolate tangent by dividing by adjacent. And here it comes. Let's keep only the first letter and we're done. So we've got these three formulae. That's all you need. But I hope that they make sense to you now. In the next video, I will show you how to use them efficiently. But we won't be done with trigonometry for all that. There's more to come. Nothing hard, just the next chapter of the story. I'm very happy if I helped you. Math are really overrated and it scares people away. Don't get fooled. There's nothing out of your reach here. Get your revenge. And help me back, please. Share this video with your friends. Like it, comment it, and mention it to your parents. Maybe they will want to support my work on Patreon. The link is below. It's a lot of work and I'm doing it for you. Just don't go away without giving a like, please. Now, amigos, get a rest because you did a very good job. You just demonstrated two very important formulae of trigonometry. Yes,